GB News presenter Bev Turner has unleashed a furious rant over the Prime Minister's response to the riots that took place over the weekend. Sir Keir Starmer will hold an emergency Cobra meeting imminently amid concern about the violent thuggery that has been occurring in the UK since the Southport stabbings last week. The Prime Minister warned rioters they will regret engaging in far-right thuggery in an emergency press conference yesterday. Speaking about the Labour Prime Minister's response to the riots, Bev said, "One of the most divisive, dangerous speeches I think I've ever heard a politician do because it completely ignores both sides of this hideous situation. What I would want to say to Sir Keir Starmer, if I ever had the opportunity to interview him, is what does he mean by far right? Because you can't have these conversations unless we all agree on a definition. And I think that definition is open to debate. If you're talking about some skinny little 18-year-old who has never read a newspaper in his life, he doesn't have any politics, who doesn't have a job, isn't in education, watching some violent stuff online, and then decides to go out and have a look. If you call him far right, you are basically undermining the value of that phrase. There are people in the world who are far right. But if you call everybody that, you don't allow the conversation to be had about what genuinely is a far-right political activist." She added, all he had to say in that speech, Sir Keir Starmer, was that there will be multiple elements driving multiple different characters in those riots, and none of it is good. But we need to understand what's happening here. And he's showing no effort to understand it. The Prime Minister, who condemned the attack on a hotel housing asylum seekers in Rotherham, is promising rioters will feel the full force of the law. He said, "People in this country have a right to be safe, and yet we've seen Muslim communities targeted, attacks on mosques. Other minority communities singled out, Nazi salutes in the street, attacks on the police, wanton violence alongside racist rhetoric, so no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is, far-right thuggery." Unrest erupted across much of England over the weekend, including in Middlesbrough and Belfast. Counter-protesters also gathered in major hotspots for confrontation, with up to 300 masked people shouting Allahu Akbar in Bolton,